Welcome to the Lifeside Podcast. Me and Anthony. We have a special guest today, Jesse Wolfe, at TikTok at The Real Jesse Wolfe, or Real Jesse Wolfe. I'm not quite sure, but he'll introduce himself here in a minute.
Welcome,
What's
Jesse.
up, guys? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, Real Jesse Wolfe.
There we go. How you been today?
Very good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me. This will be fun. I have a feeling it's going to be really fun.
So we like to joke and have a good time on the show, and just kind of eliminate out the adult language, if you will, because we want to share this with children. But
Okay.
Some things are okay.
I appreciate the heads up for sure on that one.
And if there is
sometimes
anything,
I slip, but
yeah, we slip every once in a while. But if there is anything that you want to get edited out, feel free. But we try to let it kind of flow. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of try to have a conversation and see where it takes us.
I dig it.
All right, so I had reached out to you via TikTok after I met you, and you had started the Facebook page called The Wolf Pack, correct?
That's correct.
You're the founder of that?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's more of like kind of getting people together, encouragement, positivity, stuff like that, correct?
Yeah, the way I best describe it is it's a fitness support group, and fitness is the key word there because it doesn't matter if you're, trying to lose weight, gain weight, train for a marathon, train for the Olympics. Like, we don't care. If you're on some kind of fitness journey, that's the support group there. And it's a private group, so there's a questionnaire you take to get into it. And then I personally screen everybody that comes in there, and the reason we do that is it's a safe space. It's really hard sometimes with, I come from a big family, and not everybody in my family growing up had, weight issues or whatever. So it's hard sometimes when you do these fitness journeys because people don't understand. Sometimes your friends and your family, while they support you, they don't always support you, quote unquote, right?
Right,
So,
I get that.
yeah, so I'm a big advocate coming from an entrepreneurial background of surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So, surround yourself with 7 people that you want to be like, and you'll more than likely be successful. So if you want to be a great soccer player and you've never kicked a soccer ball, well, you should probably find 6 other people that play soccer and learn and then, also play soccer with them, right? On the contrary, right, if you hang out with 6 drug dealers, you're probably going to be a drug dealer. So you are the environment you hang around. And, as I started my TikTok journey, accidentally, kind of created a family, a group of people on a like-minded journey. And, we were all kind of getting to a point of frustration where, I was trying to share their videos of what they were doing every single day to inspire other people along my journey as well. And what I found is I was posting, 15 times a day, and it really wasn't that effective. So I created the Facebook group as a way for us to, really kind of come together, rally, support each other, and it being private, like we have full control over it. So there's no, sales, there's no multi-level marketing, there's no crap in it. No politics. I don't care who you vote for.
No
I don't
trolls.
care who you date. No trolls. Yeah, we have a zero. I had to watch my cursing there because I get really passionate about this, but we have a zero harassment, zero bullying policy. It won't be tolerated, and it's great because it's really me being so strict about those core values has really created a very family-oriented, passionate nucleus, and so many people feel so open and safe and can really express, what they're going through, which is critical because, any type of fitness journey is hard, right? If it was easy, we'd all be diced with 6-pack abs. So,
It's an uphill battle, man. It's an uphill battle for sure.
It is, dude. It is. So, yeah, that in a nutshell is the Wolf Pack,
Okay.
I like it. How many people do you have in there right now?
On the Facebook group, we just cracked 1,400 people, so which is pretty crazy.
That's a big family right there.
It is, man. It is, and we probably add 20 a day right now, which is pretty nuts.
That is pretty crazy. So I'm assuming you're still growing pretty rapidly there on TikTok, then.
Yeah, TikTok's been wild, man. I think I just broke 55,000 followers on there. My Instagram's over 6,000 followers. Like, it's just, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, we talked about this before we started the show. I was on Shark Tank, you know what I mean, which is one of the biggest shows in the world.
Yeah.
And, I had like grown to 3,500 followers, I think, on Instagram after Shark Tank. And I was psyched with that, and it's crazy because I just do this TikTok thing, just holding myself kind of accountable earlier this year, and my Instagram's doubled. And I'm like, man, I was on one of the biggest TV shows in history, you know what I mean? And I didn't get nearly the support and love, if you will, that I get from TikTok and my fellow Wolfpack members. It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with like the humblingness of it. Like, you're such a lovable guy, and like you come across as such a positivity and like motivational dude, and then like you share your journey with people.
Yeah.
I recently had a video blow up probably about a month ago, and it was just a real 15-second clip. And I skyrocketed over 1,000 followers. Like, I'm nowhere near your numbers, but I'm not doing it for obviously numbers. But
yeah, neither was I. So hold on to your pants, man. It'll suck you in real quick. I was like, holy shit, I have a job and now I got this on my plate too. So yeah, that's awesome though, dude. It's crazy. TikTok's wild.
Anthony here has some too as well. What do you got, Anthony?
I'm about to hit 33,000.
Oh yeah, see, you know what's up. That's a big following.
Yeah, and it's weird because TikTok chooses the most random videos to make popular. Like the ones that I put my heart and soul into get like 1,000 views, and then the ones that I'm just like, I'm gonna point and shoot this one, it goes over 10K. Like it's wild. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, my video, the other one that I shot, the one that went big actually was, I think it's at like almost 20K.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But I don't have 20K followers.
and it's just crazy. Like I kid you not, same thing. A few weeks ago, I was down in South Florida at my girlfriend's mom's house. We went to the beach to watch the sunrise or whatever, and I literally was like, oh man, there's a lot of seashells on the ground. You know what I mean? Like this beach had a ton of seashells. So I was like, oh, look, this beach is made of seashells. It was like a 7-second video. It's got 300,000 views. I'm like, dude, damn it, TikTok. Like what? Meanwhile, the same thing. I'm over here going like, guys, buy new shoes. You have to buy new shoes. Don't make a mistake. 3,000 views. I'm like, oh, look at that. Look at the seashells coming out of the ocean. 500,000 views. I'm like, I don't understand this platform.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't either, man. Like,
I don't know about your experience, but in my experience, I've noticed that the people on fitness TikTok, most of them, like I want to say 90% of them are really genuine people. Like they're really nice. They're always in your comments telling you like, oh, you're inspiring me, like really going at it saying, you're doing a good thing. Is that the same case in your experience there? Or do you get like a handful of trolls or...
So, I got a story about this. I used to get trolls, right? I used to get a handful of trolls, but I loved them because my troll content blew up, right? Because I get fired up. Like in high school, I was homecoming king and stuff, but it wasn't because I was like, the jacked, Brad Pitt guy. It was because I was, the super fun dude. And I still our high school had no bullies. Like I was like, anti-bully of the whole goddamn high school. Like there was no way I was getting that. So like that's how I became homecoming king, if you will. And I didn't plan on that. That just happened organically, if you will. But I guess I carry that forward. You know what I mean? Like I've been picked on when I was little, and then I found sports and powerlifting and stuff. And then of course I no longer got picked on. So I guess I took TikTok the same way because if a troll made a comment or something stupid on one of my posts, I would just railroad him. You know what I mean? Like hard. And then I kind of was like, hey, Wolfpack, go wreck this, troll or whatever. You know what I mean? So I honestly, very rarely, and I feel bad because the last time I kind of like went south on someone was like probably, 3 or 4 months ago. And I didn't realize it, but she was actually like a Wolfpack member. But she said a pretty inappropriate comment about I have a huge forehead, It's just I have a caveman skull. Like I don't want to tell anybody. She said something kind of sideways about it, and I didn't see the name. I didn't really register it. And anyways, long story short, I was like, you got some real balls, get on someone's page, commenting about their looks. And of course, the Wolfpack just railroaded this lady.
Oh.
And she sent me a message, and she's like, I didn't mean it, like that. I was like, my bad. I'm like, it reads like this, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I was like, I didn't do it to piss her off. I did it.
Right.
Because I'm like, why would somebody say that? Like, who do you think? And then I'm like, oh, yep. Well, hey, there you go. So,
sarcasm does not translate well over text.
It doesn't. Yeah. And I don't know. So I've kind of scaled back a bit, if you will, but I still don't. These days, like you asked earlier, it's been really incredibly genuine, unbelievably, lots of love, and I love it so much more than Instagram. Instagram's just got so much facade, so much fakeness. Mm-hmm. It's hard to fake a TikTok. I mean, it's a video. You know what I mean? So it's just more authentic, and I like that a lot.
I'm happy that they are finally not going away.
Same, man. Honestly, you could wipe out my entire following. That's okay. I wasn't planning on building this, if you will. I enjoy TikTok. I learn stuff on TikTok. I'm entertained by TikTok. I smile, I laugh because of TikTok. I feel like it doesn't have all the BS that some of the other platforms have. So it's good at staying. What about you guys?
Oh, same.
Yeah, as far as any other social platforms, whenever I go on Facebook, I actually deleted Facebook completely off of my phone because every time I would go on there, I would leave stressed out and in a bad mood. So I deleted it because I don't need that in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so as far as TikTok, like you were saying, I learn stuff. I smile. I giggle. I send that stuff to all the people I care about, because I want them to laugh and smile,
Me and Antley share so much TikTok back and forth. And
exactly.
And it's amazing. Damn dog Penny. He did a lot of TikTok videos around Penny, and she is a ball of energy, dude. She'll zip from one room to the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's amazing.
She's the reason I have the following I have, to be completely honest. I started my TikTok just, on a whim, just to keep myself accountable, posting, daily videos of my workouts. And I was running a 5K every single day for a month, right? And I would take her with me.
Nice.
And my first video blew up over 400,000 views, and it kind of tricked. It just kept going, throughout that entire month. And a lot of the people were there because they loved Penny. And I've had people say, I came because of Penny, but I stayed because of you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
she's it's nice. But yeah, she's a ball of energy, man. Absolutely. And
that's cool, man.
We just made T-shirts with her face on it, just because she's so cute.
Why not, man? I'm telling you, and that is the greatest part about TikTok is stuff like that can exist. You know what I mean? Whereas, Instagram, which is obviously owned by Facebook, it's just more BS behind it. Everything's got a dollar sign or a motive. It seems like behind a lot of the content,
right?
Where again, TikTok, I could find a guy running with his dog, and if that entertains me, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool.
And yep. as far as TikTok to Instagram, I've noticed Instagram, it is a lot of mocked up kind of scenarios. It's not as genuine as TikTok is. Like you were saying before.
Yeah.
I definitely have seen that case, so I would have to agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good, man. I see your order of shirts came in today.
Yeah. They did. That's been nuts too. I'm telling you, man. Just like we're talking about, TikTok is wild, dude. Because originally I got on TikTok, in December because my sister was on Musically. I mean, she's 13. And so she was on Musically for a year before that, and I never thought twice about it. And I'm one of 6. I'm the oldest of 6. And one of my middle brothers was like, dude, you got to pay attention to Musical.ly. I'm like, Cody, what am I going to do with Musical.ly? You know what I mean? Like, from a business standpoint, like, how could I harness it for, one of my food companies, as you would, like, Instagram or something. And then when they flipped over, when ByteDance bought them and they flipped over to TikTok, I was like, well, this is interesting. I'm like, maybe they'll do more with it. And then I kind of kept my ear to the ground. And then in December, I made the account. And I was just on there literally doinking around, just trying to understand what it was and trying to understand the demographic and, that type of stuff. And then I was like, man, this is kind of cool. Like, nobody knows who I am on here. You know what I mean? Because, like, my Instagram following at the time was like 3,000 or 4,000. It was 3,000 people. I was like, but they all know me as, like, the Shark Tank guy and the hummus guy. And I was like, this is kind of cool because, like, nobody's on here. Like, none of my friends would get on it. They didn't, they're like, this is stupid. So I was like, this is great. I'm like, well, I'll just post my workout videos here, and that'll hold me accountable. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows who I am. The 6 people that followed me on here will, just be like, hey, dude, did you work out today type of thing? Mm-hmm. And, holy cow, man, that thing's, like, rolled into what it is today. We made the Facebook group, and next thing I know, people are like, well, you got to make merch. You got to make clothing. And I was like, really? Like, are you like, well, why? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. I'm a fat dude trying to make a lap around the lake. You know what I mean? Like, what merch is there? I don't understand.
I got merch, bro. And actually, for you coming on the show, I'm sending you a shirt.
No, we got to do an even exchange then. So that's awesome, man.
What size are you, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I'm a 4X right now.
Okay. So I will I'll order you one. I will send you the mock-up because I can just print whatever. And cool. I'll get it shipped to me, and then I'll ship it to you.
Yeah, man. That's killer, dude. I appreciate it. I'll do an exchange with it. Yeah, so the second – well, it's funny. I did one round of T-shirts because, the Wolfpack was like, well, we need them. So I made a logo saying, like, Wolfpack members. And they were like yeah, no, these are awesome. We want more. And I'm like, okay. All right, I'm like, oh my God, like this, because the thing is I don't like to do anything half-assed. So, like, as an entrepreneur organically, I love solving problems. And during the first conversation initially of, creating, I don't even like calling it merch for us because I think I'm going to take it. I'm really nervous. I don't get nervous often, but I'm really nervous about this next idea. When I started making this merch, I realized quickly that, I wasn't the only one struggling with finding, like, workout clothing, in extended sizes, bigger sizes.
True.
Yep. And, for years, even back when I used to powerlift in bodybuild, I was still easily a 2 to 3XL, comfortably 3XL. And, all the cool stuff, like, ends at, like, my favorite. It's a thin fit or a slim fit 2XL. I'm like, that makes no sense, but okay.
Yeah, I try to look up, like, so I can agree with you here because being a big guy, I've looked at Dwayne Johnson's clothing. 3X is the max it goes. Brian Shaw's clothing, his does go to a 5X, but it's sold out all the time.
All the time.
Buying it. For us bigger dudes, it sucks.
It sucks, man.
Stuff, man. Like, I buy, like, at Kohl's. If you have a Kohl's near you.
It's the only place I shop, dude.
I found 4XB, and I was what is the B for?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
I'm wearing a Kohl's shirt right now, actually. That's what I'm wearing.
Same. Yep. Y'all need Jesus.
Yeah. Well, what's annoying about Kohl's, though, is all their big and tall stuff is really online. They have a very limited amount in the store.
Yeah.
And then they take, basically 33 years to ship it to you. So, but still, really, their workout stuff, they're just plain basic tees. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
That's what I like, actually.
Yeah, me too, right. But I'm like, man, I like The Rock. I think The Rock is amazing. I love the dude. I think his Under Armour line is sick. You know what I mean?
I wanted one of the cutoff hoodies that he has.
Oh, it's so badass, yeah.
Like, just put it up and chuck it down the street, dude, and, like, sweat it out. And, like, then I can show off my tats on my arms. And, like, when you're working out, like, it makes you feel good. Like, I don't know about you, Anthony, but, like, when I work out, like, my confidence is through the roof. And, like, I got a back tattoo year before. I finished it last year, I think. So, like, when I would go to the beach and I was working out, like, I have a belly, I have the man boobs, But like that tattoo and like the way I felt, I had the confidence of like $1 million man. Like, it was awesome.
100%. After a good workout, you feel like $1 million. You catch yourself in the mirror after the workout, you're like, dang, I look good, So
Right.
I get that.
Well, it's like Gymshark, you know what I mean? Like, that's my frustration right now is like, I go to the gym and I look like, Goodwill exploded, right? I've got like the 2005, high school football, shirt on. I've got shorts that don't match. And, I'm like,
Same.
meanwhile, the dude walks in ahead of me and he's dripping in Gymshark and he looks like a poster child for Gymshark. And I'm like, damn it, man, or like the Rock stuff. I mean, so that was kind of my frustration. And when I told the Wolfpack I would make those shirts, I said, well, it's either everybody gets them or nobody gets them. So it's either I can get every size or nobody gets them because, I mean, being bigger dudes, we get left out of stuff all the time. And I personally know what that feels like,
Right.
So we pulled off the first order and then I was like, all right, that was fun, cool. And then a bunch more people are like, well, we want some. And I'm like, okay. So we ran a second batch of them, and then now it's like they're like, well, like you said, like we want more, we want cooler stuff. And I was like, honestly, the other day, I mean, I've been looking, man, at how hard and difficult that industry is. And my background's food. Like as an entrepreneur, I've done some things, but mainly it's been building food companies. So I've never touched a clothing brand, and it scares the shit out of me to some degree, but. There's a need for it, like just for me personally, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I know why people don't touch it. I know why brands like Under Armour and stuff, they don't touch it because they don't want to make, a mass amount of 6XLs, even though they'll sell, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not that
stigma.
Sweet spot.
It's the stigma, man. And we speak about this a lot. And it also goes into like the mental health aspect of things and things like that. It's the way the world portrays the perfect body. Yeah. And like it's complete horseshit, honestly.
Horseshit.
And here on the lighter side, we're big advocates of mental health and mental awareness, and we find like that is huge in the game. And like, how well do you think like a person with depression or anxiety, like myself, I deal with it on a daily basis, feels when I go shopping and I can't find a goddamn thing because they don't make it, or they did sell it, but then they cut that clothing line out of the store. Like I've had that happen before. I went to go shop at I think it was like a Macy's is chick clothes, isn't it? Or Maurice's or something. It was one of those stores. And they sold dudes' clothes and they sold like big men's. And I found a bunch of dress shirts there and I found a vest. So I went back because that was the one store that sold those clothes. I go back and they're like, yeah, we discontinued that section.
That's so dumb.
What? Like, and I was pissed. Like, I'm kind of yelling at the lady in the store, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like,
yeah.
And it's the way society looks at it, and it's sad that that's the way it is. But hopefully, like if you decide to take that on, maybe it can be changed. Like I don't see what's wrong with it. There's bodybuilders out there that are 5XL, and they're ripped as hell. They're wearing string bikini tank tops because they can't fit into anything else.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's such a vicious cycle. Like at the end of the day, it's somebody like myself, right? 6 foot, almost 500 pounds, at my highest. I'm the guy that needs to be in the gym more than anybody. You know what I mean? Like I'm the guy that needs to be in there fighting for my life. And it's like, I'm a huge mental health advocate myself. And mentally and physically, you have to be in good shape. You know what I mean? Me, they go hand in hand, bar none. So if you look good, you feel good, you want to do good, right? So when you go looking for gym clothes to better yourself to go to the gym the next day and they don't exist, or there's not a good selection of them or whatever, and you have to wear I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the store and I'm like, yeah, I need new shirts. And I go to the store and there's one shirt. Right. There might be 30 colors of whatever and there's only one. It's like, well, orange is my new color because this is my only option, Like that's degrading, man. It sucks, it just sucks.
Or like not buying a shirt because that's the only color. Or, I've done that plenty. Like I think my wardrobe consists of a lot of black T-shirts because that is the one size that they make in 4X that will fit as a 5. Like it's a little bigger as the Force. But a lot of my shirts are 4X. And like we did my measurements the other day because I'm getting into like powerlifting, you saw. And like my waist, just my waist, that's below, where it's supposed to be, is over 60 inches. So like for a weight belt that I need to get, I looked up because it was over 60. So I was going to be like 72 inches would have been perfect. It was $125. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't understand it, and that was even like looking through all of them on Amazon, and I was like, oh, 55 should work. And then I measured it and I was like, this is horse. I'm so over it, dude. Like,
Jesse, are you going through a specific company for your shirts? Like, are you going to like a small shop or something? Or are you doing it through a website or something like that? How's that all going for you?
Yeah. So great question. So like, here's what's kind of funny is, when they originally asked me to do shirts, I kind of immediately brought up the problem that we were all going to face, right? Like the reality of this is going to be tough to get sizes, for everybody. So it's either, and what I did is I basically did a pre-order model. I'm like, everybody place an order. Let me see what sizes we're going to need, and then let me go to work. And as I was kind of, designing up the shirt and getting, quote unquote, the website ready for the ordering, I located a company here in Orlando that it's a family-owned business that manufactures T-shirts and screen prints, all kinds of stuff. And I kind of what I was up against, as far as the challenges and the hurdles and how I want to beat this. And I went back to the past. I was like, listen, here's the deal. I was like, I don't do anything half-assed. Like, if we're going to do this, like, I'm not just going to drop ship you some T-shirt with a logo on it. Like, this is going to be cool. It's going to be, like custom from start to finish. So, even the tags and the stuff, they're all us. Like, it's all for the Wolfpack. So we were able to find a company that went up to, I think, up to 8XL.
Nice, dude.
That's
I need to use them for mine because my company that I use, that when I sent you, only goes up to 5XL, but in the 5XL, it's a black T-shirt. No other colors go 5.
Yeah. I'll share the company that we're pulling. I think it's out of like Oklahoma or something. But the challenge I'm finding now is, and this is kind of frustrating. It's just like everything we go through, right? The T-shirts themselves, the colors are very limited once you start getting up into those higher numbers. So on this second run, actually, I had the lady call me and she goes, "Hey, one of your sizes, which was like actually a lower number size, but still up there." She goes, there was only one T-shirt ordered in that size, and I don't have it in the normal blue. And it really made me upset because I'm like, this is just the reality I'm going to have to face on this. So I like pulled the group, and I was like, again, I'm like an all or nothing type of person. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I'll leave it up to you guys. I was like, it's off by a hair. And they all came back, like, we really don't give a shit about the color. Like, we just all want shirts and logos, so we can be part of the mission, if you will. So,
I said the same thing. Cool. I said it wasn't about the color. Don't mean to cut you off there, but the more of the meaning behind it, wanting to, be part of your journey, be part of the Wolfpack, and be part of one organization that's for everyone.
Yeah, and that kind of flipped a switch for me in a way because, again, that's kind of where I'm like, damn it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of got out of, my last business, if you will, and I've just kind of taken some time to really focus on me. And, here I am kind of stumbling on something I'm very passionate about, both obviously for my physical fitness, but also, kind of what the three of us sitting here talking about. You know what I mean? Like the toxic fitness industry. Like, I mean, I've dealt with it my whole life, even when I was into powerlifting and bodybuilding. I mean, dude, I have stories upon stories of the shit I saw ultimately go down that ultimately led me to exit, World Strongman stuff, if you will.
See, I want to get into that, honestly, so you might have to tell me about some of that stuff later.
Yeah, dude, it's I love bodybuilding. I love powerlifting. Did I ever tell you I did that?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask a couple questions about that. So, like, You said your highest you were 500 pounds. Is that when you were bodybuilding and lifting?
No, so in high school, so I wrestled. I was a state champion wrestler, and I played football. And during football season, I would play football around 315, 320, and then I'd have to drop down to like 275. I usually wrestle like 270, 272.
Dude, that's a lot of dropping, man.
What's that?
That's a lot of drop. Like, holy cow.
In like 5 weeks.
That's
You want to talk
wild.
about insanity, man. Yeah.
What did you do? Not eat?
What's that?
Would you not eat?
Dude, I mean, it was like, I'm talking like 5 net carbs a day, like 1,800 calories. And,
Lots of water.
you know, just the most, yeah, lots of carb. I mean, the most insane cardio. Like, I mean, when I left practice, I was, I was one of the most in shape like people probably in our high school. I mean, it was crazy, especially for my size.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah. So when
like putting a bag over you while you're running or doing the bike or something like that? Because I was in wrestling and that was a commonplace for wrestlers. That putting a bag and doing some heavy ass cardio.
Our school that I went to for high school, I never actually like wrestled in high school. I wrestled in middle school, but they would have black nights is what they called them on Wednesday nights. And people would layer up in like 4 layers of like sweatpants and sweatshirts, and they would run the halls for like an hour and a half and like just kick the shit out of each other.
My junior year of wrestling, I think it was my heaviest at football too. It was like 325. And my coach was like super anal about us like staying that way until the end of the season. So we ended up going, I think it was like 2 rounds in the playoffs, which then obviously kind of screwed me for wrestling. So before my first match, I almost didn't make weight. So for like literally two days before that match, I put on obviously my workout leggings, if you will, and then 4 layers of garbage bags, and then 2 hoodies and 2 pairs of sweatpants, and then we got in the and I don't recommend this. I'm not saying this is what you do, by the way. But then we got the showers, and we turned on the showers to full hot steam, and then you just jump rope, man, for hours. You know, trying to hit that.
I'm actually in the process of buying a jump rope. So I found one on Amazon. It's got ball bearings in the handle.
Oh, super bougie, super bougie. But,
it's only $6.
Dang.
God bless Amazon for workout equipment for sure.
Yeah, during this COVID, you can't find much at the store.
Oh, at all. So, yeah, when I graduated high school, I actually cut, like, I just got kind of, it was my thinnest I've ever been. I went down to like 228, 230. And then when I was getting into bodybuilding, right? And then I realized I really didn't care for bodybuilding. And then, because I'm naturally pretty damn strong. Like, I think I'm somewhat genetically gifted in that space. I caught on to world strongman stuff. And then I went up to, in about 7 months, I went from like 230 to about 285 of just muscle mass.
Dang.
It was crazy. Yeah.
What were you eating in a day?
Yeah.
So, hold on. Let me close this real quick. Oh, it is closed. My girlfriend's having a ball out there. So, here's what's funny is I was sitting at the gym one day, and it just kind of hit me, and I'm like, man, this is a lot of work and, like, bullshit eating, if you will, staying on a stage for 20 minutes, judged by somebody. So I was like, I like competing, right? And then I always grew up watching like Arias Pujanowski and those guys on, Metrics, World Strongman. I was like, now that's cool. Like, I should try for that. So I got on the internet and I saw a competition that was coming up like 7 months away. And I was like, oh man, they got a teen division. I'm 18. I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I just started going twice a day. I basically did 2-a-day workouts for like 7 months, 6 days a week. And I was eating almost 7,000 calories a day. Just shoveling. I mean, I'd eat almost a dozen eggs between eggs and egg whites. I was eating a ton of ground beef, ton of ground turkey, bison, a lot of rice, and, just packing it on, man, eating as much as I possibly freaking could to try to keep up with the calories and the training.
That's what I'm gonna have to do. So I'm under my wife's membership right now, but we're gonna cancel that, and then I'm gonna take over her membership, and then I'm just gonna go lift like 3 days a week. But on those lift days, like my calorie intake should probably be pretty high because I plan on lifting for like an hour or two at least. And if you're lifting heavy, you got to eat heavy. So
Yeah. It just depends on like kind of what stage you're at, if you will. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean you can grow, man. You know what I mean? If you have the right, the right regimen. I mean, It was crazy because they kind of say if you want to build definition, you go high weight, low rep, and if you want to build mass, you go low weight, high rep. I kind of played in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to always be that magic number, but my number was always like 12 to 14. You know what I mean? And I would just go. I mean, it was insane. Like looking back on it, there's no way. There's no way in hell I would try to do what I used to do. Like it's just
Brian,
back, and I'm like, oh my god, dude.
You would get those they call them newbie gains. So like you're still pretty fresh in lifting, right? So right now you wouldn't have
but I've
to
always had like muscle definition. It's just under all my fat.
Yeah. I mean, when you start a regimen, like a workout regimen for the first time, like if you hadn't done one before or it's been a really long time since you had, you would get that newbie strength. You'd get that, you'd get new PRs like weekly in my experience of, working out with a bunch of people, typically you'd get those newbie gains and whatnot. So it probably in the beginning, you probably wouldn't have to necessarily like eat more necessarily. I mean, you want to make sure you're still eating proper and whatnot, but like in the beginning there, you won't have to eat that, 7,000 calories to go and lift for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Until you get into those heavier weights where your body's, really pushing out that energy, eating up those calories that you had throughout the day, then you'd go and up your calories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Brian Shaw, like 10,000 a day. Like that guy eats
wild.
Like a monster, dude. You know who Brian Shaw is, Jesse? He's a 4-time World's Strongest Man winner from the U.S. He's a champion 4 times, and he stands about 7 foot tall, and he's about 420 pounds. And he set the world record on deadlift of almost 1,100 pounds.
That's such a absurd weight.
I mean, it's a motorcycle. It's like jet skis. I mean, like the man's an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude. I actually posted a picture on one of the things. I think it was one of my like deadlift videos or one of my bench press videos when I was doing that, and you like called me out on it. You're like, look at this guy just chilling here, killing it, like, and like I watch him religiously actually, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like I really want to like do this, and so I'm getting my own membership shortly here. So I want to touch base on a few things here. So you had said you are a big mental health advocate. So I guess have you struggled with any depression or anxiety in your life that made you that way?
Yeah, I have a really bad fear of heights, which a lot of people don't know of, which just really wrecks me in a lot of facets. So like with airplanes, for instance, I don't like flying, but I have to for work. So that's actually kind of compounded into, which is crazy because I've never really told this story, but for a few years, I didn't like my heart racing. So I've had panic attacks, on airplanes, and that feeling of being trapped, midair, if you will. And, that's compounded into kind of different parts of my life where I just felt like I might have a heart attack at any moment. You know what I mean? So that's something I've really worked on years overcoming, that kind of piece of it. And it's not easy, man. You know what I mean? And it's hard to explain to people, and a lot of people don't understand what you're going through unless they've dealt with those battles themselves, But I've got a lot of family on top of that I've watched struggle with anxiety and depression and bipolar disorder and that type of stuff. And, a lot more people deal with anxiety than they even realize. It's pretty sad, especially in the world we live in today. I see a lot of people, as a pretty big extrovert myself and someone who's pretty good at communicating, I see a lot of people with social anxiety, and they don't realize they're dealing with social anxiety. And that's not something you just go like, hey, man, I think you have social anxiety.
That would be a horrible way to bring that up.
It would, you know what I mean? But a lot of people just go, oh, no, I just don't like people, or, oh, I don't like, public speaking. And it's like, yeah, well, that's not healthy for you to not address that. You know what I mean? Because
right.
While they might not like public speaking, that means they don't like many other situations, like, being in public in general or talking to strangers, in that compound. So, a lot more people, I enjoy this time in the world because a lot of people are speaking up more about, anxiety and, depression and mental health issues and, just generalized disorders. It's amazing. Like, we need to keep talking about this, and a lot of this impacts our life greater than most people will recognize. So I'm a big proponent of it. And I saw a meme a couple years ago. It was like the best medication for a lot of things in life is fitness and exercise. And, my whole thing is I personally tend to really ball stuff up. I'm a nice guy. I tend to just take it on the quote unquote chin, right? Because I can be the bigger person. I can move past things, so or someone will sit there and try to win their point. I don't care. And I move on.
Karens of the world.
What's that?
I said the Karens of the world.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So, I just find myself pretty worked up. And then, this last 2020 year, I reminded myself, I'm like, man, I never realized, like, I never got worked up when I used to powerlift and bodybuild. Like, I never had stress. And I was like, why did this stress hit in my mid-20s, in my late 20s? And then this year really dawned on me. It's like, well, you're not working out. There was no outlet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There was no way for me to take that anger, that aggression, that stress, whatever, out. I just left it pent up. So it's a good way for me at least, to release a lot of my kind of stress and anxiety and that type of stuff. I mean, I'm definitely not, fixed or in the best spot I could possibly be, but I'm on my way. So what about you guys?
Brian, go ahead.
I definitely, like, I've had anxiety. I shared to you, earlier before the show on, like, my depression story and stuff like that. And I mean, I still get there. I mean, this COVID thing definitely hasn't been easy. Me and my wife are both working from home, pretty much the same hours, seeing each other. And when it first started, like, we were seeing each other all the time, and, like, we were at each other's throats, and it was like a big thing. And, it was an adjustment because we have that 8-hour break away from each other when we were at the office, and now we're both home, so we don't have that. And, like, now, I was a big, like, anti-masker, if you will, is what they're saying everybody was for a long time. And, like, she wanted to go into a store, and I'm like, no, I'm standing my guns. Like, I'm not putting a mask on. And, like, we would get in arguments about it, and, like, stupid, dumb stuff like that to, just to, freak out, because you're already freaking out because you don't know about the virus. You're already freaking out because the government says you have to do this, and, like, you want to rebel against it, because, I mean, that's you think of it and you look at your own views, and I do that a lot. Like, I'm like, do I think this is good? And is this going to work for me? And, like, I kind of pick things apart like that and try to, like, use my own views instead of what the media portrays or what, like, Karen down the block says or, whatever. Like, I try to use my own views and stuff like that as far as, like, a lot of different things. One thing I look at as well, going back to, like, the mental health aspect of it is I look at veteran suicides or male suicides in general as, mental health is not discussed enough in this country or this world. And you got people coming back from war. You got people coming back from deployments. You got people coming back from 4 years gone away from their friends and family. Yeah, they get leaves to come home, but you will never know what really happened to them. You will never know that. I don't care if they shot somebody. I don't care if they've never been to war. You will never know what they went through. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's people say, well, it's not my business. Why should I share, what I did with other people? And I don't look at it as in like sharing and like giving everybody, every aspect of your life. But it's okay to open up and talk about it, whether that be with a counselor, whether that be with, somebody that you just met, whether that be, just find an outlet and try to, talk about it. And that's what we want to make this show about, kind of, is giving people that safe space just to kind of talk, just to kind of get out there and, not feel alone. I still deal with my depression and anxiety on a daily basis. I take a very mild medication called sertraline, which is amazing. It doesn't mess with any of my other stuff, my blood pressure, anything like that. It keeps me going, and I take it every single morning, prescribed by a doctor. I went to a doctor willingly. I seen, what they could do. I tried the counseling thing. I tried the going in for sessions, and they worked for a little bit, but once COVID hit, they were like, nope, we can't do anything but telephone call you. And I'm like, that's pointless, bro. Like, what is going on? So I just stopped going, and I fixed myself and kind of seen somebody. And like, I portray that, really big, is like trying to make mental health a very important aspect of life, and, talk about it. I talk about it with my wife, and, get a lot of things. And like, I'm a compulsive eater. Coping with food is huge for me. Like, if I'm pissed, I will kill an entire pizza by myself. Like, just leave me alone and give me the bottle of ranch. Like, it's not a question. Like,
Yeah.
What about you, Anthony?
As far as depression and everything like that, I do have a lot of family members and friends that have dealt with depression, anxiety, stuff like that. You good, Jess?
He's cutting again.
Yep. Ooh, can't hear you yet. Not yet. Oh.
Yep, you're good
Brian,
now.
can you hear?
Yep,
there we
I
go.
can hear.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, it's so weird because I'm clear here.
It's so strange.
Stream. Let's try to. I understand why it's doing it. It's like totally weird.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, you're good now.
There we go. Yeah. Well, as I was saying, I have a lot of family and friends who have struggled with depression and anxiety, and I've seen the toll taken on them by not talking about it or not having an outlet to express those feelings or anything like that. And then, I mean, I have my lows, I do a lot of creative things, right? And so I tend to burn myself out. And when I go into that burnout, it tends to, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. It's like, it gets me down there. So I do kind of, suffer with that stuff. But I agree with, both of you guys where
it's crazy. I just want to hop real quick on the creativity. It seems like the more creative the person, almost like the more they deal with anxiety and depression. And I got a weird take on this because, I believe everybody on this planet's gifted in some facet. You know what I mean? It's just up to you to figure out what your gift is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people, this is the way I kind of see, like, my anxiety. So, like, a lot of my anxiety is I tend to overthink things, and I'm a very vivid person. So, like, one of my fears of, like, flying, for instance, is somebody at one point in time, in the last probably, 6-7 years was like, I was at an airport, and I don't know, I was just talking to her, and she was like, yeah, she's like, flying's so weird. She's like, it's like you're just a chair strapped to this, like, metal tube, and, like, there's just nothing below you. And I'm like, I painted this picture of just a chair floating in, like, a see-through airplane,
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm on it. And, like, I literally started having, like, massive panic attacks. And I'm like, but it was such a visual thing for me. And I believe I'm a hyper-creative person, for sure. And then I started seeing it as, like, well, now I'm broken. because I had these severe anxiety issues on some of these different subjects. But then I started looking at it a couple of years ago. Someone brought this to my attention, and it's like some of the most talented people, some of the biggest game changers in the world suffered from some kind of, either anxiety, depression, bipolar, so on and so forth. And part of me thinks, while it can be anxiety and depression, that it's also like we're such hyper creatives, that our minds never stop working and they're always going. And, it's trying to find that outlet, so it's almost like your gift is your curse. Have you ever heard that saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with all of that, actually. Like, the more you kind of like go and create more things, like I'm always thinking of new TV shows and skits and, oh, I could post this on TikTok and, oh, I can do this for the podcast. Or like, I'm always thinking of like how I can create something for something that isn't even a thing yet, like I'm constantly thinking. So I get overworked pretty quickly,
Yeah.
So I've over the last, I want to say year and a half, I've been creating different types of content and really kind of honing in on how to not overwork myself in that sense, taking that time off, taking that break for myself to be able to, put my all into it later on, the next day or something like that. I don't have to go 100% every single time, all the time.
But don't you find it, and that's where, I really reinvigorated my passion for working out. It even working out, it's still kind of a nightmare for me depending on like what I'm doing as a workout, but it's hard to shut down the mind. It really is. So even for me, like, it's funny, reading for me is not hard. I don't have a problem necessarily reading, but I have a problem shutting my mind down, because if I catch a paragraph that like intrigues me while reading a book, I'll end up down a 20-minute rabbit hole thinking about this, that, blowing it up, like you said, kind of running it through my mind 3 different ways on, oh man, well, he could have done this or he could have done that in that scenario or whatever. It kind of almost daydreaming. So a book for me will take me 3 times longer to get through than most people.
Yeah,
I have that as well, like the photogenic mind. Like if I'm thinking about something or I'm doing something, like I can picture exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it, what I want it to look like. And it's like I can see it and I can almost feel it, that it's like right there and like I want this to come out,
Yeah, yeah. And Brian, you mentioned something earlier, about mental health, and especially in men, because it's always been this stigma that you don't talk about it. You just, quit being a pansy and push through it.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys, I grew up, in the skateboarding, Tony Hawk days and, Dave Mirra, BMX and stuff. And, man, I'll tell you, the one person, I think everyone's got that celebrity that kind of hits them the hardest, losing. Mine was Dave Mirra. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his story or not. But he was a, phenomenal BMX.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, BMX pro. Yeah, just an icon for X Games and the whole sport of X Games. And, he took his life in a cul-de-sac, in 2016. And nobody had a clue.
That's insane.
He had everything, you know what I mean? Multi-millionaire, super successful athlete, retired from BMX, went on to become a race car driver, super successful race car driver, beautiful wife, loving wife, 3 kids, you name it. He had the dream life, and never once
make you happy.
It doesn't, and not one real mention of suicide or mental health or battles or anything. And, the guy just left his house one day and drove to a friend's neighborhood, went to the cul-de-sac and just took his life. And like, it blindsided everybody, you know what I mean? And that's scary.
You hear stories like that all the time. Like Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, same deal. Like the day he did that, the hours before he was laughing and playing with his family. Like he had a smile on and no one had a clue. You know what I'm saying?
I had a friend when I was 3 days after my 18th birthday, so it would have been the 4th of December. He took his life, and nobody knew. Same thing, like nobody had a clue, and it was crazy, and that's the stigma that I think a lot of us grew up with, and now that stigma's starting to go away, and I want to help that stigma go away. Where, like you said, suck it up, don't be a pansy about it. That's not okay, and that's not something that I'm ever going to stand by. Like, if I ever have kids and I want them to come to me, I want them to be able to talk about it, have an outlet. Like, if they want to get help, I will get them help. Like, that's not a question.
I'm always telling
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'm always like, whenever I go live on TikTok, or if someone mentions something in any, conversations that I might be having with them, I always let them know, like, if you're dealing with something, I'm always open. My DMs are open. I check them daily. Like, let me know if you're struggling with something, because I would like to help you through that. Like, I'm trying to be an outlet for people to come to for situations like that, because like my younger brother, he deals with it severely, and he had called me one day, in one of those situations where, like, if I didn't pick up, I don't know if he would have been there, and like
oh my God,
I've dealt with those calls, throughout my whole life, and I want to be able to do that for other people. I want to be able to be that source that they go to when they're not feeling right, like, I want them to come to me and talk to me about whatever's bothering them, so I can help them out, so
yeah.
So there's always an outlet.
There is, and I think a lot of people are just so afraid to ask for the fear of embarrassment, and I love our generation and I hate our generation. I think like anybody does, right? Our generation, all generations have pros and cons, but the one thing I'll definitely give our generation any day of the week is, we're, as men especially, we're not afraid to kind of break those cultural norms, which is very important. A lot of my good guy friends, that been in my life for a while. I mean, I'm like, hey man, I love you, dude. Talk to you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid to tell them, yeah, I love you, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're my brother. And that's something that older generations, in my opinion, they've never done. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I'm trying to make out with you. You know what I mean? It just simply is like you're saying, like, hey man, I'm here for you. We're brothers. The good, the bad, the ugly. Like, I got you. And I think it's important that as long as we're all open to each other, that's going to continue to thrive. Being able to talk more about it. And Brian, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you were saying, like, it was at the beginning of the show when you were like, something about me putting myself out there, on TikTok. Like, as an almost 500-pound dude at one point in time, like, that's not fun to put yourself out on social media and go like, hey, I want to lose weight. You know what I mean? You're just waiting for the mean comments. I mean, they're coming,
Oh yeah, and I can share that because Anthony and me had a good laugh on this. So I had a troll. I had a troll, and it was on a dead bug video. You know what dead bugs are?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so my stomach was hanging out at the bottom a little bit, and he went to say something, and he went to put the word gut, G-U-T. He didn't spell it right. He put G-U-N-T.
No, nice.
I called it out immediately. Like, I was going to reply to it in a video, and, like, I was, like, yelling at the camera, and before I hit send, my wife's like, no, that's not you. Don't do that. So I just replied. I was like, so you won the #1 troll award, but you missed the spelling bee. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
And then I spelled it B-E-E, like the animal.
That's funny. That's funny. That's it,
laugh.
Man. It's like, people that troll, I mean, they literally, they don't have anything else going on in their lives, which is the saddest part at the end of the day. Like, you enjoy making misery on other people's videos. Obviously, you're not happy in your own life, but
right. Like I call them people keyboard warriors.
That's it, man. That's it. But like you said, putting yourself out there, while you might take a couple of trolls, like, there's a lot of people that will watch your content and not say a word, and they watch it and they love it and they take stuff from it, and it's amazing. Being in the wolf pack, I mean, you see it constantly where people are like, hey man, I've been in here for 6 weeks. I haven't said a word, and today I was inspired, so I spoke up. Yeah. And I see it every day, and I'm like, that, like, somebody is always watching you and rooting for you or learning from you, so saying things like, hey man, like if you're having a bad day, like I'm here to talk to you, or it's okay to have bad days. I had a bad day, and as much as it sucks sometimes to put you out there, like you might just save one person.
Mm-hmm.
You might just change one person, and that's huge,
Mm-hmm. I've when I first started this and I actually blew up and I got over the 1,000, I was just like, dude, people are saying I'm inspiring them. Like they're messaging me or they're commenting on my things and like saying I inspired them. And I got choked up. Like I didn't go live, but like I'm reading these comments and I'm like tearing up, personally. And I'm like, dude, this is hitting home. Like this is a big thing and this needs to happen right now. And I need to keep doing it. So yeah, it's crazy. But I think we're going to be cutting her to the end here shortly. Anthony, do you have anything for Jesse before we head out?
Honestly, I kind of ask this every time, towards the end of our podcasts here. But what's next for you? What next is on the agenda of, content or business? What's going on with you?
Yeah, that's a really loaded question right now because I'm kind of coming out of one massive chunk of my life and kind of really closing that chapter. Like I really look at life like a book, So, the hummus chapter is closing, which is crazy. And, I had a lot of anxiety and emotions around that. It's like that was a big chunk of my life and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And, went through the emotions and I'm excited, man. I'm really honestly jazzed up to kind of be a free agent, if you will, because that's where I thrive best is on that creative launch phase. So, I've been just enjoying a couple months of breather, but I didn't really, chill, if you will, because I went kind of full force accidentally on, myself and then Wolfpack. So I think right now it's just kind of head down and, try to get myself in a good place physically, so I can kind of get that piece of my life back, if you will, and kind of see where that journey takes me. Honestly, I'm not really racing to start quote unquote another food business, which I originally had planned. 2020 being so chaotic and stuff, it's kind of all the stars are aligning just to keep focusing on myself, and I feel like there's a door there of some sort, opening. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on is just me taking care of me, putting myself first. I mean, I've just pile drove, DDT style, my body and myself, mentally and physically, over the last 5 or 6 years that I built that hummus company. So, I learned a lot. I learned that wasn't the right move to do. And, now I just got to get myself back on track. And I feel mentally, stress level wise, anxiety wise, I feel like a whole new person this year, and that's been a huge eye opener for me. So it's just heads down and grinding on myself and to get myself to be just in a much better spot, kind of just turning a new leaf in my own life, and we'll see where I come out the other side of that, I guess, for 2021.
Absolutely, mad respect,
All right,
and
man.
you live and you learn, So,
yeah. All right, man. Well, I do want to thank you for your time on the show, and I'll be getting you a shirt here. I'm going to get it ordered. I just ordered mine, and then I'm sending out one to Tons once his gets in. They should be here tomorrow, and then I'll figure out what design you want because I have 2 now, and then I'll ship you out one. We'll get you a shirt. It's just going to say #NoQuit because I look at that as don't quit on yourself. So that's my mantra type thing. So
love it, man. Appreciate that for sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Not a problem. But yeah, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight. And y'all, thank you for watching The Lighter Side. Everyone have a great night.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks,
Jesse,
guys.
Before we go ahead and close it out, did you have any, things that you want us to shout out, social medias? How can people join the Wolfpack, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely if you're on TikTok, follow me at Real Jesse Wolfe. Instagram, it's the same exact handle. And man, if you're on a fitness journey, and you don't want to do it alone and you want some support and some like-minded people, we've got our Wolfpack Fitness Support Group on Facebook. Come find us there and grab an invite. Doors open to anybody and everybody wanting to change and willing to try. It's an open invite to anybody that doesn't want to struggle alone. So love to have you.
There we go. All right. Well, this has been the Lighter Side Podcast. I appreciate you guys watching if you're over there on YouTube. If not, thank you for listening. We will talk to you guys in the next podcast.
Take care.